Welcome to Travel with Sean. I'm Sean. After having just returned from a 3-week vacation in China, I learned some things out there about how they pay for things. I learned firsthand about some of the tricks that I want to talk to you about. China is now a cashless society. And when you want to pay for anything, whether it's your hotel, restaurant, ordering food, or even ordering Didi, which is the Chinese version of Uber, for anything, possibly even souvenirs, you need to use an app. In this current cashless society that China has, everything or almost everything is paid for using one of two apps, WeChat or Alipay. I'm going to talk to you about WeChat because that's what I used. And you have to download one of these apps, install it on your phone, and set up an account with your real ID, your real identification. Or you will experience a lot of inconveniences, and that will make for an unpleasant trip. When you set up your account, it'll ask you for a phone number. You want to have a Chinese phone number to enter for your convenience. I'll explain that more in a little bit. But when you're setting up your WeChat payment account, you'll want to link your Visa or MasterCard to your account as the payment source. I assume it works the same for Alipay. I don't know for sure because I didn't use it. When you set up your credit card, you want to make sure that your credit card or the bank sponsoring your credit card does not charge you a foreign transaction fee. That can get costly. I use Capital One Venture X, and they do not charge a foreign transaction fee. And when I use my Venture X card, the payment is in the Chinese renminbi or Chinese yuan, and the bank automatically converts it to the US dollar. And I get a better exchange rate than what I would anywhere. If you don't have a Capital One Venture X card, I'd recommend it. And I have a link in the description section below that you can click on to apply if you're interested. While you're traveling in China, you might stop at a mom and pop shop, or you might stop at a small restaurant, and they will not likely accept credit cards. Some might not even heard of Visa or MasterCard. But the point is, they will accept cash, probably. But again, I said China is a cashless society, so they likely do not have a lot of cash on hand to be able to give you exact change. Maybe they won't make change for cash payments. That's possible. But they will accept Alipay or WeChat Pay. If you use WeChat Pay and you have your credit card linked to it, it's the same as using your credit card that they won't accept. One disadvantage, though, I learned of using WeChat Pay linked to your credit card is that they limit you to a 200 yuan transaction. That's $24 US, or 1,000 yuan per day. That's 140 US dollars. If you exceed this, WeChat Pay charges you a 3% transaction fee. Now, the way around that transaction fee is to have a cash balance on your WeChat Pay or your Alipay. But if you're a foreign traveler in China, how are you going to get cash balance on your WeChat Pay? The locals connect it to their bank account. So they always, as long as they have the cash in the bank, they always have a cash balance. But what about foreign travelers? You can go to a friend or an associate, somewhat a resident of China, and ask them to exchange your currency with the Chinese renminbi, Chinese yuan. It has two names. And you can ask them to transfer that amount of renminbi to your WeChat Pay. So then you have a cash balance. But remember earlier, I said you'll want to have a Chinese phone number associated with your WeChat Pay account. And in this scenario, they cannot transfer money to WeChat Pay if your account is linked to a non-Chinese phone number. So that is a problem. In that case, you want to have a Chinese phone number on your WeChat Pay. Now let me talk a little bit about how to get a Chinese phone number. Our next thought was bite the bullet and put the SIM card into one of our current cell phones, mine or my wife's. But the iPhone 16 does not support a physical SIM card. So the next thought was downloading a Chinese eSIM. But I've never used an eSIM other than what's already factory installed on my phone, or had the experts do it. I was concerned about compatibility, how that would affect my current phone number, my current eSIM, and how do I switch back when we return to the States. Neither my wife or I are that tech savvy, so that was too much of an obstacle to overcome. So we went back to the electronics store, bought a Chinese smartphone. It was called a Viva. Never heard of that. So I had the staff help me to make sure it would support WeChat Pay. Great. It only cost $200. I was able to set up my WeChat Pay account using this Chinese phone number, and everything worked well. Didn't have a problem after that. Now, the question was about using, what do we do with this phone when we're done? We can't use the Chinese smartphone in the US. It's set up that it will not work outside of China. But $200 wasn't that big of an investment. Next time we go back to China, we can bring it with us. Hopefully technology will not have changed too much since then. Or if we have friends or family going to China, we can lend this phone to them for their use. There you have it. I hope this information will be helpful to you if you decide to travel to China. Until next time, bye-bye.